Seattle, making her first appearance of her career is Caroline Stanley, as Hope Solo still out with a knee injury for the rain that she suffered during the Women's World Cup. And then Haley Kopmeyer, who has been fantastic in 11 starts this year, she is out of the lineup today as well with a right foot sprain. So Seattle on a third string goalkeeper here today. We'll see if Boston can take advantage of that offensively. Lauren Barnes back on the back line for Seattle, along with Rachel Corsi as they move the ball to the far side of the field. We'll run through the Breakers starters in just a moment here, as Cox at the halfway line with the left foot sends it towards the midfield. Kallman with the header. And now the Breakers look to move upfield. Lauren Lazo, Cassie Kallman. Saw Julie King there back defensively as well. Suzanne Perez, Amy Barzik in the starting lineup, along with Maddie Evans, Christy Mewis, Molly Pathman. Talked about Katie Schepfer in the Open. She plays in her 79th career game for the Breakers. And then, of course, U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper Alyssa Nair in goal for the Breakers today.
We can already see a little bit of a change in the lineup for the Breakers here. Maddie Evans and Lauren Lazo have kind of switched places. Maddie Evans is playing the right outside back position. She's been more of a midfielder this year, and Lazo, of course, has been the outside back. She got her first goal last game, so maybe he's just trying to keep that offensive momentum for her going tonight.
Yeah, Lazo the goal last Saturday against Sky Blue, a 3-1 loss for the Breakers in that game, as a foul will be called on Seattle. So the Breakers will have the free kick on the far side there. Seattle has points in 10 of its last 11 matches, coming off back-to-back victories over Portland. 1-0 on July the 22nd and 3-0 on July the 26th, where Beverly Yanez scored 2 goals in the span of 5 minutes for Seattle that day. Maddie Evans back with it for the Breakers. Will play it along to the captain, Julie King. And now Cassie Kallman. King and Kallman have played every single second of the season next to each other except for the opening game of the year, just about. A few minutes here and there with some changes, but they have been the center back duo. Here's Kim Little, who was the 2014 NWSL Player of the Year. Headed away by Kallman, and now Pathman tries to clear it away. Recovered by Seattle at the halfway line. As we work here in the 4th minute, Breakers and Seattle. As some light rain continues to fall here in Boston. Had a quick downpour just before this game got going, and now clearing up. Ball into the box. King can't hold on to it. Fishlock will drop it back. And now Seattle looking for a shot. Katrine Vi has her shot blocked by Maddie Evans. Now corralled by Stephanie Cox. Cox with the right foot service towards the far post. And it'll bounce through the box and over the end line for an Alyssa Nair goal kick.
And there's that effort from Maddie Evans. She's such a workhorse in there. I think outside back's a good position for her to be at. She's going to work really hard to stick with that forward and make sure that they don't even get a shot off, which she just did right there.
Seattle comes in on the road this year, 2-3-2, the road record. And that win they had over the Breakers on June 21st here stopped a streak for Boston. They had won 6 consecutive home matches dating back to last year. But now the Breakers at home this year, 3-4 and 1 draw. Cassie Kallman surveying the field. Her team last year, FC Kansas City, beat Seattle in the NWSL championship game that was played in Seattle. Here's Julie King along with Maddie Evans. Trying to get by Vi there. Pinballs around, taken back by the rain. Stephanie Cox. Cox will play in middle for Little. Kim Little with the speed. Lost control of it as cleared by Lazo. Seattle was 16-2 last year with 6 draws. Had a +30 goal differential, and a lot of the same this year, a +12. And at the top of the standings, they were the overall first-place team a year ago.
And right now they're also leading the league in goals scored with 28. So they are a very high-powered offense. And Coach Durkin was talking this week about how his defense just needs to, be a little more cohesive. Last game, he even moved center back Julie King to the outside to Mark O'Hara, which, you know, it's kind of a hard thing to do, but she's back in the center tonight. And like I said, Maddie Evans is on the outside right side, so hopefully they can try and slow this high-powered offense down a little bit.
Kelly O'Hara scored 2 goals in that game for Sky Blue last week against Boston. Into the box here. Matthias taps it for Vi. Vi, a left-footed cross to the far post. Molly Pathman there for the Breakers, and just able to keep control for Alyssa Nair to pick up there. Breakers have never beaten Seattle. 0-5-1 draw. It's the 7th all-time meeting in the 3rd year of existence for the Reign in the span of the NWSL. This is Lauren Barnes, 26-year-old defender. Brings it across the halfway line here on the near side of the field. Plays it off into space. Vi chasing after it. King trying to get there first. King will win the initial battle and then go out of bounds for a Seattle throw.
At least she might have saved the corner kick there, Seattle, just with a deep throw in here.
Vi, who's a Danish international, playing in her 4th game now for Seattle since officially joining the team on July the 1st. Little into the box. Fishlock couldn't get the header, and the loose ball cleared out of the box by Coleman. Mentioned Hope Solo out of the game today, as is Haley Kottmeyer in goal for Seattle. Also without Megan Rapinoe. A groin strain for Rapinoe has her on the shelf here today. Kirsten Dahlstream not playing as well for the Reign, a right ankle sprain. Breakers without Rafina, an ankle sprain of her own, and Kaya Simon not available today, the Australian national player. She's out with a hamstring injury.
And that's kind of tough for Boston to see her on the sideline tonight. She scored a goal in her first game back home after signing with Boston again. She was just starting to click with Mewis, I think, up top, so it's kind of tough for them to break up that momentum they kind of had going there.
Settled by Cox. And now Cox trying to get back to it. She does. Quick touch back for Kendall Fletcher. And now middle of the field, Keelan Winters, who's the captain on the field right now for Seattle. Now Little, who was the June Player of the Month in NWSL, had 3 goals and 1 assist. Has 5 goals, 6 assists to lead the league now in total. In game number 15 in the 1st of August. Matthias. I'll give to Vi, and they go back and forth here. Matthias, service to the top, and it's kicked away. Second ball coming down Suzanne Perez, but Fishlock there for the Reign, who's had good success against Boston. She has 3 career goals against the Breakers, including the game winner back here on June the 21st in the 86th minute. 3-2 win for Seattle back in June. In that game, Haley Kottmeyer in goal for Seattle had 10 saves. She did everything she could to help Seattle win that game 3-2. Caroline Stanley has yet to be tested in the first 9 minutes of this one.
Oh, geez. That was close. I was just going to say earlier with the rain, it's not raining anymore, but the turf's still pretty wet, so those are scary chances back there.
I think your response to what just happened is perfectly describes it. Here's Katie Schepfer. So the Breakers dodge a bullet as we work in the 10th minute here. The rain now has stopped. Lazo scored her first professional goal last week. The rookie out of Princeton University. Here's Maddie Evans. Center circle, Schepfer along with Barzik. And that pass is off target, and now Stanley will go out and grab it. Stanley, a 22-year-old. Played her final season at Southern Cal back in the fall. And now making her first appearance, officially signed July the 22nd. She had been with the team as an amateur call-up, but now she's the #1 goalie in there getting the start today. Cox has McCaffrey coming after her. Got it away to Vi. Vi, a little miscommunication with Kim Little as Little went left and the pass went right. And now rolls out off of Boston for a Seattle throw. Cox with the throw. She's played every single second of the season for Seattle, making her 15th start of the year. Barzik for Lazo in the midfield, and now back for Kallman. Lazo did have 8 goals in her final season at Princeton and almost 30 for her college career, and so moving her to more of an offensive position now after her goal last week. Little trying to turn against King. Excuse me, that was Matthias. And now Vi tripped up by King, and the foul will go on Julie King there. So dangerous free kick opportunity coming up now for Seattle just outside the box.
Especially, like I said, with the wet surface on turf, even if Nair, gives up a little bit of a rebound or doesn't grab it right away, Boston needs to be right there to clear it.
So we'll see Kim Little at the ball here. And also in the area, Stephanie Cox. 4-player wall formed by the Breakers at the top of the 18. Little with the right foot trying to curl it, and Nair got the hands on it, and then a little soft touch, able to pick it up afterwards. So best opportunity thus far, other than the mishap almost there by Boston. Quick turnover though, Little takes a long shot, Nair the save, dives on it before Fishlock can get there.
And there's that rebound I'm talking about. Of course, Boston has the professional in Alyssa Nair, and she's good at what she does, so she hangs on to that. But they do need to be aware of that tonight with the wet surface, that Seattle can be right there to pounce on it.
13th minute of play. Breakers and Seattle. Game number 15 for each of these two teams on the season. And the second of 3 meetings. The teams will meet in Seattle later this month, the 26th of August. On the far side there, Rachel Corsi gave it to Beverly Yanez, the reigning player of the week in the NWSL. Gives to Fishlock, right back to Yanez. And Seattle will be patient, maybe switch the field here. Bring it here to the near side. Seattle coached by Laura Harvey, was the coach of the year last season, deservedly so, with a 16-2-6 record. Just falling that 1 game short in the championship against Kansas City. Amy Rodriguez, a couple of goals in that game for FCKC. Little, drop to Fishlock, tries to feed Yanez, driving towards the top of the box. And now picked up by Keelan Winters, playing in her 59th career game with Seattle. 1 goal on the year for Winters, who is acting as the captain right now on the field. Cox, a bad first touch, and able to save it though. Again, we talked about Seattle being such a high-powered offense, 28 goals on the year to lead the league. And when they score first, they're virtually unbeatable. 6-1-2 when they score first, just 1 loss when putting the first goal on the board. Here's Vi going against Evans. Left foot towards the middle, cleared away quickly. Kept alive, though, by Winters. Little, marked by Schepfer. And we'll drop it back Fishlock for Barnes. Return to Fishlock. In the corner there, Cox could not control. It'll be a Boston throw deep in its own end. One of 4 games on the NWSL schedule today. Everything else later. 7 o'clock kickoffs, Houston at Washington, Western New York at Sky Blue, and then 8 o'clock, Chicago hosting FC Kansas City. So just 1 team not in action in the league today. On Wednesday, Portland shut out Western New York 2-0, and Houston a 3-2 win over FC Kansas City on that snipe, we'll call it, by Carly Lloyd.
Yeah.
And made its rounds that I think everybody ended up seeing. Fantastic, incredible, and continuing her ridiculous play over the last month.
Seriously.
Remember, it was beginning of this year. The own goal that she let in off of her leg here led to a 3-2 Boston win, second game of the year.
Forgot about that.
She probably wishes we didn't bring that up.
I think she's redeemed herself.
Yeah, I think it's okay. No worries there. McCaffrey. The Breakers have had really nothing offensively going on here. Looking for something now. McCaffrey sends it towards goal, and not a bad idea. Make the rookie, make Stanley do something.
Exactly. I was just going to say, I like that chance. Not the strongest shot, but at least it gets something going, and if they're lucky, they could get a rebound. So, that's another thing that Coach Durkin talked about this week. They really need to get off to a fast start and not concede goals. They've had a hard time coming back from that. They need to get on the board first tonight, and with the rain, with the wet surface, with a rookie goalie in net, Boston just needs to take chances and take them early.
To that point, Breakers 0-6-3 when they allow the first goal.
Yes.
Alongside Catherine Donnelly, I'm Scott Sudikoff. Glad you are with us. The rain taking on the Breakers. You can always get in contact with us here in the broadcast booth on Twitter. Use the hashtag BreakersTV. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Always enjoy finding out who's watching the broadcast today. And we also welcome the viewers watching on the New England Sports Network, NESN for short. Those of you watching, we welcome you as well. Julie King with Maddie Evans on the near side of the field. One touch trying to get it to McCaffrey, and picked up by Barnes, who's one of two players on the Seattle roster who's played every single second of the year. Barnes along with Stephanie Cox. Cox with some space. Plays it on the sideline. Vi knocked away by Evans, and Evans trying to steal the call there and not happy. Tosses the ball away. That's going to be at least a stern talking to. Got to be careful, though, if you're Evans. As Katerina Koroleva, our referee today, trying to calm Evans down.
That's the emotion in the fight Maddie Evans has, though.
We've seen that for a couple of years. Yep. Cox got by Evans right here. And they're trying to feed it through. Barzik in the way. Pinballed around. And Cox, nice slide by Evans. Cox keeps it alive. Drops it back for Vi. Served along the sideline, headed by Perez, picked up by Fishlock for the rain. And now Lazo. Can't keep it going for the Breakers. Neither team with strong possession right now. Seattle, though, keeping the pressure on. And there's a shot in there. Made a diving stop. That's what Alyssa Nair's been able to do for the Breakers over the last couple of years is turn away chances like that. Had 106 saves last season to lead the league.
She's definitely kept them alive a couple times this season. 2 games ago, she made her career high 8 saves. Last game, she had a career save 9 goals, or 9 saves. Sorry. So the score could have actually probably been a little higher than 3-1 if she wasn't back there to help them. But she's been such a rock for them again this year.
Little going by a bunch of Breakers there. Vi runs onto it with Evans there defensively. Evans falls down. Vi got the step. Now gets by King. Slides for the cross, and it was out of bounds. So Vi could not keep it alive, and maybe with the turf being a little bit slick here, could not keep control. As Vi, 24 years old, making her second start with Seattle, her 4th appearance, has not yet scored. Debuted on July 11th against Western New York. Breakers after today will be right back in action on Wednesday. They'll be at Portland, so a midweek trip to the West Coast to take on the Portland Thorns, currently 4-6-4 in 6th place in the league, and they have today off. So their next game not until Wednesday, so an advantage there for Portland as they're just waiting at home right now. And what will sure be a large, raucous crowd as it always is in Portland. Breakers started the season in Portland this year, a 4-1 loss.
Speaking of crowds tonight, though, a pretty good showing. It's been sold out at Soldier Field Stadium tonight, even with the rain. Fans are all here. It's a packed house. It's nice to see in Boston as well.
Yeah, the bleachers behind the goals here are packed. Standing room tickets were made available a couple of hours before today's game, and we've not yet mentioned Kat Whitehill night here at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium as Kat announced her retirement just after she finished her duties as a broadcaster at the World Cup. Spending 4 seasons with the Breakers. And of course, a gold medalist at the Olympics in 2004, member of 2 World Cup teams in 2003, 2007, and then you could say a member of another World Cup team, the broadcast team that got to see firsthand the championship win for the U.S. over Japan. Bouncing out of the box here. Lazo trying to go after it for the Breakers. Vi has it for Seattle. And Kat will be joining us in the second half of this broadcast today, so be sure to be with us.
If you have any questions you want us to ask her to be answered, make sure you use the hashtag BreakersTV so you can see some of those.
Vi. Middle of the field, Matthias, drop it back, Winters. Winters along with Fishlock, plays a near side now, Cox. And we were informed before the game today, even before the rain happened, that we would be having cooling breaks today, and I think we will continue with that since they decided before the game.
It's still pretty humid, so.
30th minute and 75th minute approximately when those will occur. And they are a couple of minutes, up to 3 minutes long. As that gets deflected over the sideline off Seattle, so it'll be a Boston throw here. 23 minutes in, no score, Breakers and Seattle. Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium, the campus of Harvard University. Maddie Evans will throw it in, looking for Schepfer. Vi chests it down. Looking for a cross. Evans cuts down the angle, deflects it out of bounds, and looks like that will be a corner, though, for Seattle. It'll be the first one of the day, if so. So the Breakers, again, of course, playing here today. Portland at one Wednesday, and then they'll have Washington here next Saturday. Then they'll have a couple of weeks off, have a bye week. It's been a tough couple of weeks in terms of games and short amount of time for Boston, but every team has had to deal with that at a certain point as Nair punches that away. The rebound finds the top netting. A goal for Seattle.
Trying to see who that was.
Looks like it was Beverly Yanez again for Seattle. Got the rebound and then roofed it. And that would tie her for the league high in goals with 9 with Washington's Crystal Dunn. So Nair got the initial punch away, but it found the foot of Yanez. Another look at it. Had the corner coming from Kim Little.
She's
quick
wide
settle.
open back there, yeah.
Yep, nobody marking Yanez. Quick settle with 1 foot.
It's a great finish, though, by her to get her 9th goal. Like you said, you know, there's a reason we obviously spotlighted her as the player to watch tonight, coming into the game with 8 goals and the reigning NWSL Player of the Week. And there she goes, tying for the lead league with 9 goals.
27-year-old from California, played collegiately at the University of Miami. So 1-0 Seattle on the 24th minute goal by Beverly Yanez for the Reign. I mentioned the numbers again earlier when Seattle scores first, 6-1-2. When the Breakers allow the first goal, 0-6-3. Fishlock will switch it to the near side. Cox runs onto it. Now Cox with a lot of space. We'll play it for Keelan Winters. To wonder though, Seattle playing with the rookie goalie making her first appearance, that they seem happy with some possession in the midfield and limiting the game, that is, and limiting the chances that Boston could have on her later as the game goes.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't really been doing anything too flashy up top, but the possession has definitely been in the Breakers' end for this entire half for the most part. But, they scored on a set piece like that. You put one away, and that's kind of all you have to do, and then keep possession as long as you can. Keep it out of your own end, especially to protect a rookie goalie like that. So they're playing smart for sure.
Goes back to Nair in goal. As you take a look at hashtag Breakers TV, have Daniel, who's watching from England, rooting for the Breakers. We have Kate, who's watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's cheering for Seattle. Some more Seattle fans checking in from Seattle. Todd Peterson on Twitter saying hello. And once again, hashtag Breakers TV. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. And again, if you have any questions for Kat Whitehill when she joins us in the broadcast booth, should be early second half. Any questions about her time as a broadcaster at the Women's World Cup, or of course her time playing in the Olympics or playing in the World Cup itself, use the hashtag Breakers TV. Try to shoot some questions her way when she's here in the booth with us. Catherine, a former teammate of Kat Whitehill back in 2012. That was the first year that Whitehill played here in Boston.
She's had quite a career here. She was a player, then she was a player coach for a little bit. She was captain, obviously. She's had a pretty good run for her 4 years in Boston. She was just such a pleasure to play with, such a leader, and she took me under her wing, and she was just such a great teammate on the field and off. Can't say more nice things about her.
There's a good story you have. We'll save it for when Kat is here that you told me before the game started.
Oh no.
So we'll save that for when Kat Whitehill joins us. 1-0 Seattle on a goal by Beverly Yanez, scoring number 9 this year, tying with Crystal Dunn for the league high. And Seattle, a laundry list of injuries of players not playing today. 2 goalies in Hope Solo and Haley Koppmeyer. Megan Rapinoe not available today. Same for Kirsten Dahlstream for the Reign. Breakers without Rafina and Kaya Simon. Both Bia and Amy Barzik came into the game today on the injury report of both making the start. Or excuse me, Bia is a substitute. Barzik did make the start though. Little. So shifty there, just able to keep away from the defense most of the time. Jam-packed crowd on hand here. Have not had too much to cheer for Boston just yet. Seattle has really not allowed the Breakers any chance. We have Stephanie McCaffrey, 1 shot near goal. I'm not sure if it officially was on goal. And other than that, though, it's been all Seattle. Cox goes middle for Little. McCaffrey trying to get by Winners. They get tangled up and they go incidental. Both getting tangled up there as Fishlock has it for the Reign. Just one more home match remaining for the Breakers. It'll be Saturday, August 8th against Washington. Team that has been near the top of the standings all season long, currently in 3rd behind Chicago. And Chicago is 1 point behind Seattle, but have played 1 fewer game thus far. So that's served in towards Nair, and she'll make the catch and then roll it forward. Breakers had a win over Washington here Seattle had a win over Washington in Seattle 3-1 back on May 2nd, and then Washington returned the favor, a 3-0 shutout victory on July the 18th. Foul here on Boston. Breakers have played Washington just the one time so far this year. It was a 1-1 draw back on June 6th as
I think that's Yanez that's down, collided with Molly Pathman over on the far side there. It's kind of slow to get up right now, though.
So Yanez, the goal scorer, back in the 24th minute, slow to get up and try to walk it off. Take a look at what happens. From behind there, Pathman just getting the back of the leg. We passed by the 30-minute mark, so maybe they'd canceled the cooling breaks here. It has definitely cooled down.
Yeah, I don't think they need it anymore, but
Cox into the corner. Vi runs on to it, looking for the cross, blocked out of bounds by Evans. It'll be a second corner kick for Seattle, and the first one led to a rain goal.
You know, Boston usually defends in more of a zone, and I think they need to make sure they're marking all the players this time, because she was wide open the far post last corner kick, and it looks like she is in the same position this time.
Little with the corner, curling to the far post, and it gets out of the box there. Not sure exactly who cleared it out. Nair was in the area, now sent back in, and Nair grabs it. So better defense there from the Breakers on that second corner kick by Seattle. 1-0 Reign in the 33rd minute. Lazo and Evans on the sideline for the Breakers as they try to get some sort of offense going here.
The Breakers are doing a decent job right now stringing along some passes, but that's the issue they had on Saturday is they couldn't really connect out of the midfield and get any chances going forward. There was like virtually no chances forward, and you know, they worked all week on practice of trying to change that up, and you know, it looks like they're kind of stuck in the same position right now. Can't quite get it into Seattle's defensive end here.
Schepfer still looking for her first goal this season. Talked about her 13 career goals in Boston, including 7 goals back in 2012 with Boston.
And that's interesting because that was the first year Kaya Simon played alongside with her as well.
Header by Mewis off the crossbar and in.
You can hear the fans going crazy here tonight too.
Christy Mewis ties the game up 1-1 on the header, her 5th goal of the year. A great delivery in, I believe, by Suzanne Perez. Schepfer finds Perez. And it was a little chip with the right foot. And right off the crossbar, bouncing in for the goal by Christy Mewis, her 5th of the season. And they will now have the cooling break here in the 35th minute after the Mewis goal, all tied at 1. So for the Breakers, a pretty good scenario there. You get the tying goal and a pretty setup, one of the better goals the Breakers have had all season long on their home field in terms of build-up and delivery and finishing. And now a chance to get on the sideline, grab a drink, and hopefully come out and keep the momentum going if you're Boston.
Absolutely, and I was just saying too that they were struggling trying to string some passes along and get some offense going, and they just proved me wrong there. They did a nice job of setting that goal up, and Mewis does a nice job of finishing. You know, we've said that a lot this year. It's their 5th goal. Have they all been at home? I'll have to double check on that, but she's had a lot at home, so it's been good for her to score in front of her home crowd. She's a BC graduate, a suburb of Boston, born and raised, so it's good to hear the crowd going wild for her as they tie things up here and try and keep the momentum this water break.
All 5 of her goals have come here.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
1 each in the games against Seattle, 1 each in the games against Kansas City, and a game winner against Portland. Take another look at Suzanne Perez, who picks up her first assist of the season, and the header by Mewis perfectly placed off that crossbar. And if you're Caroline Stanley, that's the first real chance you've had come towards you, and you give up a goal. We had the one chance earlier that was a shot by McCaffrey, not a huge chance. So now if you're Boston, you might want to just try to pepper Stanley as much as you can. So Mewis, her 5th goal of the year, ties the game up at 1. And Perez the assist, her first. 34th minute, the goal officially coming, and we had about 90 seconds of a cooling break there, nothing major. And now a goal kick coming for Alyssa Nair. Mewis will be the subject of a feature here at halftime, so don't go anywhere if you want to learn more about Christy Mewis, and the same about Julie King. At halftime of our broadcast today, learn more about a couple of the more popular Breakers players. Catherine mentioned that Mewis played at Boston College from Hanson, Massachusetts. Julie King has been with the Breakers for a couple of years now. As Little looking to give the lead back to the Rain, and she puts it by that far post with the left foot.
Just misses wide there. Great strike by her there to take that chance, but just a few inches off the post there, so Boston got a little lucky there.
It's a goal kick for Alyssa Nair. A look at Kim Little with the shifty dribble and 2 feet the other way, and it's 2-1 Seattle.
And as you mentioned about Christy Mewis, of course her sister plays on Western New York, so they've battled it out a couple times as well. She was a UCLA grad. Mewis stayed in Boston, graduated from BC, like we said.
Yeah, her sister Sam winning the national championship at UCLA this past season, and then drafted into the NWSL.
Of course, Julie King also with the athletic family. Her sister played alongside with her at Auburn University. So, tale of 2 sisters.
King with the ball right now, center circle, along with Mewis, right on cue. Dropping it back for Cassie Coleman.
Seattle doing a good job of not giving Boston anywhere to go except backwards.
She's Catherine Donnelly. I'm Scott Sudikoff. Glad you are with us. We're at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium in Boston. Breakers tying this game up a couple of minutes ago on Christy Mewis' 5th goal of the year. Beverly Yanez gave Seattle the lead off a corner kick in the 24th minute. On that Mewis goal, the first professional point for Suzanne Perez with the assist as she's playing her first year on the Breakers. I was about to say on the Breakers, a varsity team. She played with the Breakers reserves last year and had 6 goals, 5 assists. Lazo dropping it back, Barzik. And running on to him, Molly Pathman. So you work towards the 40th minute of play. Schepfer serves it with the left foot. Lazo was offside, though. So we'll see Lazo a lot of freedom in her position now, moving from, I believe, the left back position where she's normally been, or the right back position where she's normally been. And Maddie Evans now in that spot here today. The other 3 defenders for the Breakers, I mentioned again, King and Coleman have played just about every single second next to each other's center back, and Molly Pathman has played every single second in her left back spot. Katrine Vi with Fishlock. Fishlock now down the seam. Little onside. Turns away from King.
Nice touch by Little there.
Yanez trying to go back to Little in the box, and it goes by for Nair.
The Boston Breakers would like to acknowledge the following groups attending tonight's match. Abington Youth Soccer, Amesbury Soccer Club, Tewksbury Youth Soccer League, Wakefield High School, Wakefield Soccer Association.
So again, as we head towards halftime, be sure to stick here and stick to the broadcast, as we'll have a couple of features on Christy Mewis and Julie King. Learn more about the players for the Breakers, and then as we come back from halftime, we expect to be joined by Kat Whitehill. Fishlock curls it here to the near side. Cox all alone. We'll go back to Fishlock. Right up the middle, trying to get Little, who was running into the box.
Nice read by Julie King there, though, to break that up.
Now it's Cox. Little turns to her left, trying to get by Schepfer, lost it. And possession regained by the Breakers. Quickly intercepted by Winters. Cox does keep it in, and the slide tackle stays now Seattle possession. 42nd minute. McCaffrey trying to work it out of her own end. Drops it back for King. Running up the sideline path, but he can't get there in time.
Not a bad idea, but again, the surface is just a little quicker, still a little slippery, so Pathman just misses that, but a good overlapping run by her.
$4,000 fans expected here today at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium. Looks that way for sure, as these stands there across the way on camera right now are full, and the bleachers behind each of the goals are just about full, and a lot of people in the standing room areas between the stands. We've added extra pitch side seating as well. Even have a hill to our right here where some seats have been put on and fans sitting there. Foul going on Seattle there at midfield. In the 43rd minute, Christy Mewis. A tying goal for the Breakers. Beverly Yanez the goal for Seattle. King with Coleman. Taken away. Fishlock can't keep it going for Seattle. Winters will circle it back. Seattle after today will be not in action for 11 days. They'll be back in action August 12th when they host Houston. Chance for some of the injured players to work their way back into the lineup. And while still being at the top of the standings, if they can come away with at least a point today, maybe 3. And again, you have Chicago right behind them, a point behind with the game in hand as well. Breakers looking for their first win since the end of May. It's been since May 30th. Had a couple of ties since, but no wins on the board. 3 wins total on the year. 8-3, 8-3 the record. And 5 games remaining on the schedule after today.
And only one more home game after today.
August the 8th against Washington. Tickets going fast, so grab them before they're all gone. And as that'll bounce towards Caroline Stanley in goal, who again really has not been tested other than the goal by Christy Mewis and one shot put on by Stephanie McCaffrey. That was more of a just test her out, see what happens type of shot. As we head towards extra time in this first half of play, we'll have at least a couple of minutes with the cooling break and a couple of goals, or we should at least. Bounces off McCaffrey, could not get back to it in time. And it will be 2 minutes of added time in this first half of play.
The referee will be adding a minimum of 2 minutes of additional time to the end of the first half.
Picked up by Julie King. Evans will play it back for Nair. And Breakers in no rush right now, as about halfway through our extra time of this first half.
Neither team wanting to make a foolish mistake in the last few minutes, again with the slippery surface. So
Yanez gives to Fishlock. Trying to feed it to Little. Coleman will knock it out of bounds. Smart play with the talented Kim Little. Don't give her any chance to make a play.
no.
Cox will throw it in for the Reign. Fishlock. Winters to Cox. Keeps it away from Lazo. Back at the halfway line. Barnes chips it forward. Mewis to McCaffrey, right back to Mewis. As Perez, middle of the field with her. Drops it back instead for Barzik. Now on the far side, Pathman. Pathman on the sideline, got by Yanez to the top of the box, taken by the Reign. And the final whistle, the first half, will sound. So 1 half in the books here in Boston. Beverly Yanez gave Seattle the lead in the 24th minute. But 10 minutes later, Christy Mewis tying it for the Breakers at 1-1. We'll take a break here and be back with more live from Boston.
Does your health club give you free Group X classes, free babysitting, free personal training, plus a huge women's-only area? Well, Workout World does. Join WOW today for as low as $10 a month with no commitment. There's never been a better time to get more. And WOW offers so much more, like free tanning, over 40 Group X classes a week. Plus, you can even bring a friend for free. To get more, visit WOWNewEngland.com and join for as low as $10 a month with no commitment.
A whole new world.
Welcome back to Boston, 1-1 at halftime. Well, she scored the game-tying goal in this game. She leads the Breakers in goals on the season with 5. And the Hanson Mass product, Christy Mewis, has had a good couple of years here in Boston. Let's learn more about the Breakers midfielder. Looks for the cross, gets it through, goalie down! Boston ties it 1-1. That's Christy Mewis scoring her first of the season.
Playing a pro sport for your hometown team is the lifelong dream of many young athletes. For Hanson, Massachusetts' Christy Mewis, that dream has come true.
I'm like having a rough morning. You know, I've traveled a lot for soccer. I've been to a lot of different countries, and I played in Kansas City my first professional year. I was fortunate enough to be traded back here to Boston, and it's the best feeling ever, playing for your hometown and being with your friends and having your family come to all the games and stuff like that. So it's something that I've always really dreamed of, and now I'm finally doing it.
She was a player that played in what is now the Boston Breakers Academy program when she started there when she was 8 years old. And now she's a local girl that's playing professional for her home club on the field. And that's another good story to tell.
Christy's soccer story began with the Breakers junior squad, then on to the Whitman-Hanson High School team, followed by a scholarship to Boston College, where she was recognized as one of the best players in the country. Christy's abilities were further recognized when she was selected to play for the U17, U20, and U23 U.S. national teams, as well as the senior U.S. team, all with tremendous success.
And surely the U.S. should, and indeed they do. And it's Christy Muse, the hometown girl.
With that kind of track record, it was no shock that pro soccer came calling next.
Thankfully, the league came back and we had somewhere to play. But if the league wasn't around, you know, I would have loved to maybe go play overseas. But I definitely knew that I wanted to play soccer past college. Like, this is like who I am and this is what I want, so.
Not surprisingly, Christy has found success at the pro level, first with the NWSL's FC Kansas City, as well as stints in Australia and Japan before coming home to Boston.
You know, as a player with national team experience, a young player with national team experience, now she's played abroad for a year. She's left-footed, she's very good one-on-one, and we're just trying to get her to settle in. But I think this is a season where you'll see Christy Muse really come into her own.
Despite her impressive soccer resume and world travels, Christy Muse has not forgotten who she is or where she came from.
I think it's important for all little girls to have a role model, and, you know, kind of giving back to where you started is very important. So any chance I can, I try to get to a little Breakers like game or a little practice or something like that, just to like poke my head in, and it kind of reminds you where you started, and it does make you feel good to kind of be a role model for the girls.
Well, Christy Mewis's goal here in the first half has tied it up for the Breakers. We'll take a break and be back with more in Boston.
Are back. New England's only women's professional soccer team has kicked off the 2015 season, and tickets are on sale now. Come pregame with the Breakers and enjoy great music, the beer garden, and then watch the best players in the world and the superstars of tomorrow. Meet the players after the game at Autograph Alley. Home games are played at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium at Harvard University. Tickets start as low as $15. To get game schedules, more info, and your ticket to Boston's best-kept sports secret, log on to bostonbreakerssoccer.com.
Well, she's been with the Breakers since 2012, and The Auburn University product has now become a mainstay at center back for the Breakers. Let's learn more about Julie King.
Yeah, Kim! Yeah, go!
One of the team's most important defensive stalwarts is veteran Julie King, who was a breaker before the NWSL even came into existence.
Well, I've been a breaker this is my 4th season now, and to see where we've come since my 1st season till now, it's really awesome. I mean, the staff, the organization keeps saying bigger and better, and it really is.
Being a professional female soccer player is a tough job, not just because of the level of competition, but also because the opportunities to play as a pro are very limited. Julie King, however, never considered doing anything else.
I was living at home for a couple months over this past off season, and so we were going through some stuff from like kindergarten, and there was a piece of paper that had like, what do you want to be when you grow up and things like that, and I had said I want to be a professional soccer player. So that was when I was 5 years old.
Now Sanderson fires it to the post, tapped in and a score.
If you speak to Julie, she's calm, she's collected, but then as soon as you start stepping on that field or a soccer brain switches on, she's intense. She wants to win, she wants to be better, she wants to make other people better. And the way she goes about that in terms of her leadership skills, people buy into that pretty quickly.
If Sam goes there and Shep goes with her and they give her the ball back here and their midfield's pushing back, we've got to go up and squeeze up there. She's a coach's dream from the standpoint of coachability, and athletically she's off the charts. And she has exceptional leadership qualities. She, I think, is a player for the future of the U.S. national team.
And Coach Durking isn't kidding about Julie's athletic abilities.
Up the floor, Julie King to the hole, goal!
When Julie finished up her soccer career at Division I Auburn University, she remarkably got a call to join the basketball team and promptly accepted.
King comes up with a steal. Julie drives to the basket. Yes! And a foul!
But Julie's revived basketball career created a problem when the 2013 Breakers schedule came out.
We played through the SEC tournament, and then the new league was starting. It ended up overlapping, which was a surprise because I thought I would have more time to prepare for professional soccer, and I was all stressed out. The coaching staff at Auburn really understood that this was where my career was, and they let me leave early. The Breakers understood that I had just come from 6 months of playing basketball, so my touch wasn't necessarily where it needed to be, but I was in great shape.
Obviously, it has all worked out for both Julie and the Breakers. Now it's time to take the next step and win it all.
I think we're starting to create a culture here as an organization that will last and hopefully pan out to be a championship team.
Boston and Seattle tied up at 1 at halftime. We'll take a break and then come back with highlights and first half stats here from Boston.
Does your health club give you free Group X classes, free babysitting, free personal training, plus a huge women's only area? Well, Workout World does. Join WOW today for as low as $10 a month with no commitment. There's never been a better time to get more. And WOW offers so much more, like free tanning, over 40 Group X classes a week. Plus, you can even bring a friend for free. To get more, visit WOWNewEngland.com and join for as low as $10 a month with no commitment.
A whole new world.
The NWSL is proudly sponsored by Nike, by Coppertone, and by Mango. Boston Breakers soccer is brought to you by Steward Healthcare, the exclusive title sponsor of the Boston Breakers. Workout World New England, the official sleeve sponsor of the Breakers. Cat Sports Performance Center, the official performance training provider of the Breakers. CIP Insurance, visit www.askcip.com. TCG Network Services, a proud partner and the official IT services provider of the Boston Breakers. We Got Soccer. We Got Soccer is proud to partner with the Boston Breakers for the 2015 season.
You know how to do it. You've done it a time or two.
Welcome back here to Boston at halftime. It's 1-1, the Breakers and Seattle Reign. Scott Sudikoff alongside Catherine Donnelly. And let's go through some of the first half highlights in this one first. And Seattle took the lead in the 24th minute. It was Beverly Yanez scoring off a corner kick for the Reign. As you take a look at it here, able to roof it by Alyssa Nair, who was down by the post off the corner kick from Kim Little. That made it 1-0 Seattle in the 24th minute. And then the Breakers, about 10 minutes later, or before that actually, Kim Little almost scored another one for Seattle. That was a nice-looking move by Kim Little and just put it by the far post. Another look at the attempted shot by Little. And the Breakers were able to tie it. As one of the subjects of our halftime features here, Christy Mewis was able to take advantage of a good service by Suzanne Perez late in the first half of play, and then a header scored the goal for Boston. So that's how we are tied at 1-1 here in Boston. Seattle outshooting Boston 6-2 for those shots on goal. So 3 saves for Alyssa Nair. No saves thus far for Caroline Stanley. Again, only the 1 shot on goal, and the goal scored by Christy Mewis. So 1-1 the score. Catherine Donnelly, Scott Sudikoff, and we mentioned that we would have a special guest at some point during the broadcast, and Kat Whitehill has joined us here in the broadcast booth as we head towards the second half here. And first of all, welcome, Kat. Welcome to hashtag Breakers TV for the first time, and you were honored here at halftime. A little emotional moment there for you.
You had me tearing up.
I was actually slightly surprised with how emotional I was in that amazing ceremony from the Breakers, and I was very appreciative of everything the Breakers have done for me here, and the tears just started coming, and I just I'm not used to crying, to be honest. Catherine knows that well. I'm used to yelling at players to get in their position. I'm not used to crying, so I think retiring is tough, but it was the right time.
Yeah, this is the 3rd year that I've been involved with the Breakers, and when I came onto the scene, you were a captain on the field. You were an assistant coach by name, literally. You were an assistant coach on the field. And so now when you're watching games from the broadcast booth of the World Cup or on the sidelines here, are you still finding yourself yelling things at players?
Yes, I have to, on the cough button, I have to say things out loud so that the viewers can't hear exactly what I'm saying.
We don't have a cough button here.
Okay, good. I'll make sure to stay quiet. But I mean, I enjoyed being that assistant coach because you get to read the game so well and you get to learn it more, and it helps you in the booth to know about the coaching side and the playing sides. You have a lot of perspective, and so it's been fun to be in the booth. I think at one point I was a journalist, a coach, and a player.
All in the same,
all at the same time.
Couple
so
of
it's
months.
Kind of weird, right? Too many hats, I think.
Now, in terms of coaching, is that something you want to do going forward? Broadcasting,
yeah,
both?
Both. I would love to do both. I think coaching is such an interesting entity that it's new to me, and I love the X's and O's of the game and deciding, what players should play and all that, and practices, and I just enjoy getting to know the game every single day, because the beautiful thing about this game, it's always very different every single game.
It might be new to you, but you're probably one of the most experienced people to ever be able to coach World Cups, Olympics, through the league, and being a player coach in 2013. So I think you'll be pretty good if you do decide to go that route. for sure.
Yeah. I want to stay with the women's game in any way possible. So however they'll have me, I want to stick with it.
Second half just about to begin here. Seattle will have the possession as they'll move left to right. Beverly Yanez, the goal scorer for Seattle. Christy Mewis for the Breakers, her team high 5th of the year, all coming here at home, so she likes playing at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium. As the second half is underway, Scott Sudikoff with Catherine Donnelly and Kat Whitehill joining us here in the broadcast booth. And we can go down the list of accolades for you, Kat.
We might be here for the rest of the
134 games at the international level. You did score 11 goals. And a fact that I saw, the only defender in World Cup history with 2 goals in a game, unless something happened in this past one that we haven't updated the stat.
Yeah, no, then Lee Billiard looked at me, 2 own goals, and I was like, oh, thanks.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was like, actually, no, they were off 2 corners. You know, I was pretty proud of that. You know, coming from a defender, you know, we got to give defenders some props for goal scoring.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Catherine knows all about that. As Matthias into the box, plays it up top. Good job by Lazo getting in the way. Yanez will serve it back in. Little miscommunication there for the Breakers. Second time that's happened today.
That is something they've lacked since you did announce your retirement. It's just some leadership back there. I know Julie King stepped up in that captain role this year, and she's doing a good job. But they do need to work on their defensive cohesiveness. And you know, you were such a rock back there for so many years that they do miss you for sure back there.
They just need a loud voice, a loud yell that I would give.
But nice.
But sometimes. So, you know, sometimes.
It was with the
demanding.
purpose.
Yeah,
it was with the purpose.
Yeah.
Well, Catherine and Kat, you were teammates back in 2012, and Catherine was talking about, you know, she was a newcomer, and she definitely looked up to you in terms of helping her out on the field for sure.
Oh, I did. We had such a good time playing together. I wish we had played longer.
I know. And roommates on the road, too. So I remember before one of the semifinal game, you were studying to do. So, like you said, you've been wearing a lot of hats for a while now. So,
a free kick coming here for Seattle, just into the 48th minute.
It's also nice to see your huge family come out to support you tonight, and your husband with his Whitehill Army T-shirt on was very cute.
I know, it was fun. I had 3 of my friends surprise me from Chapel Hill this
morning.
As that header goes out.
It's a good thing about having teammates is they're teammates for life.
Yeah.
You know?
We asked the people on Twitter to use the hashtag BreakersTV if they have any questions for you, and have a good one from Kaylee. She asking, what young players that you saw at the Women's World Cup are you excited to see play more in the future? I don't know if she means exactly from the U.S. team or just in general.
Well, from the U.S. team, it's undeniable. Julie Johnston and Morgan Bryan. I mean, they made names for themselves, and especially Julie Johnston, you know, playing every single minute, and just, you know, was a rock back there. And even though, you know, she had that penalty and struggled after it, her team had good enough leaders that brought her back, and she still was able to perform, which is huge. I think there was a lot of really fun young players on different teams. Iwabuchi from Japan, she came in as a sub. She was a fun player, Manu. Let's see, Nigerian players, they were fun to watch. There was a bunch of them, and I know that a lot of their players are actually in the league.
Stephanie McCaffrey, speaking of young players, almost got to that for the Breakers. She's spent some time in some U.S. Training camps.
I think, you know, Kaya Simon sitting on the bench right now for the Breakers. A lot of the Australian players really proved, because they're young, like Caitlin Ford in the back, to me, was one of the best defenders in the whole tournament, and she's still lower 20s age-wise, and, you know, playing for Sky Blue and, you know, doing a nice job there. So there's just a ton of potential in the women's game right now, and you saw it in the World Cup. But, you know, the U.S. team, it's hard to deny the young players there.
Well, I mean, one of the best things that has happened now the last couple of weeks since the players have come back from the World Cup, especially the U.S. players, is what they've been doing in the games now. Carly Lloyd coming out. Kelly O'Hara had 2 goals against the Breakers last week, but 2 goals. So these players are coming right back on the field, and with the added now, there's undeniably more eyes on the broadcast like today, more people in the seats, and they're delivering, and that's exactly what the sport needs.
They're big-time players, and they come through when their team needs them, and they did it for the U.S. team, and now they're doing it for their NWSL teams. And they're great role models for the young players in this league to look at and emulate.
It'll go out of bounds. Of a Boston throw. Breakers only have 1 shot on goal in this game, and it found the goal, Christy Mewis. Assist to Suzanne Perez back in the first half. Alongside Catherine Donnelly, I'm Scott Sudikoff, being joined by Kat Whitehill in the broadcast booth. If anyone else has any more questions
We
to
have
throw
another
it.
one from
Oh.
Kaylee Lucas. What was BC Place like during the finals? Looked pretty packed.
It was amazing. You know, even though even when the U.S. went up so quickly,
Yeah.
I was afraid that the crowd was just going to be like, oh well, the U.S. has already won. They did not
Yeah.
care. They were all over it. Vancouver had red, white, and blue everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere you walked, it was fantastic, and the support from the fans was unbelievable, and you couldn't even hear yourself think. Thankfully, we have headsets, because that's the only way I heard my play-by-play and other color commentator with me.
A thing that I'm definitely interested in is, obviously you played in World Cups, you've been on the field, but then as a broadcaster to be in that sort of situation, how exciting was that? Because that's something I think I would have enjoyed.
Yes, you would have. Biggest event I've ever been a part of as a broadcaster, and I may ever be a part of. I mean, when 25.5 million people are listening and hopefully not putting me on mute.
Well, you nailed it. You did an awesome job.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun listening to you.
I think
for
there's
sure.
a good dynamic there between you and Tony, and then JP just kind of in the middle.
Me and Tony, former Breakers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There was a lot of Breakers
And
on
Leslie
the Fox.
Osborne
You
on
had
Fox,
Leslie,
yep.
Heather Metz, Karina LeBlanc even came in there, Kelly Smith. I mean, Christine Latham even played for the Breakers, and she was there. I mean, we were, the list goes on and on. We were like, Breakers are representing.
Well, Breakers, the longest standing women's professional soccer team that there is, so.
All three leagues.
Yeah.
As Kendall Fletcher will look to throw it in for Seattle as we play here in the 52nd minute. Both goals coming in the first half. Beverly Yanez for Seattle now tied for the league high with 9 with Crystal Dunn. And Crystal Dunn's a player that a lot of fans have been asking maybe get a look at on the national team upcoming. And I think there's a lot of players probably that are floating around the NWSL that could get a look heading into the future.
Of course, Christy Muse being one of them as well.
I actually thought Crystal Dunn should have made the team.
Yeah.
Still think that way. And with the way that she's killing it right now in the league.
Here comes Katrine Vi into the box all by herself, trying to get it to Matthias. Good play by Amy Barzik to clear it out.
So we also see some Reddick jerseys floating around here tonight. Do you still get people
The Reddick, yeah.
asking about it?
They do,
the last name
especially
change?
the Tar Heels. They,
Yeah.
the maiden name with Reddick, and my best friend's wearing the Reddick, so that's nice. Giving me a little shout out because we were high school friends, so that's how she's known me. Yeah, go way back.
Well, you got to play alongside Molly Pathman for a little bit. Is that okay? Is that allowed?
I know Duke, Carolina, I know, right? I actually presented the Gatorade Player of the Year trophy to her, and when she told me she was going to Duke, I was like, well, I'm going to take this trophy back, No, Molly Pathman is every year has improved. I know she's only been here 2 years, but she is one of those players that if she keeps continuing this improvement, she's going to be an amazing pro, and she might even get a couple of sniffs of the national team.
I say that every single night. She's one of my favorite players to
Yeah.
watch. She's quiet, but she can be deadly on the wing, and she takes her chances and does well with them. And she just never
Absolutely.
seems to stop. She's played
Yeah.
every minute of every game so
Yep.
far and doesn't ever look tired.
So fit, great teammate, and just workhorse, and she can play anywhere. She's very versatile.
Yep.
You could see her up front. I feel like Tom plays everybody in different positions just about every game.
Breakers still kind of looking for that combination that'll bring them success, and 5 more games after today. And right now, and again, in a position, we've said this all season long, Catherine and I, that the Breakers have, for the most part, have been in position to win just about every game, except for a couple here and there, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
But, just a couple of bounces the right way, and this record could look a little bit different.
Well, this is a big win for the Breakers. If they can get this, they could really turn some things around, and beating, one of the best teams in the league, it would be huge for the season.
Towards the far post, Little just outside the box, going against Pathman. The cross and Nair there at the post will knock it out. It will be a corner for Seattle, the third one of the game thus far. And again, they scored the goal off a corner kick. As we tick into the 55th minute, I have a couple more questions on here for you. Then we won't keep you here
We'll let
too
you
long.
enjoy your night.
This is fun. It's good to be back in
Yeah.
the booth. Feel at home. It's fun to be next to a former teammate. She hadn't gotten hurt, she'd be here.
She told me a quick story about a free kick that you let her take.
You probably
once.
don't even remember that. My first point was because of you.
Well, you're welcome.
The corner to the far post goes over the head of Yanez, and that'll go all the way out. So now it'll be a goal kick for Lissa Nair and the Breakers. Yeah, she basically explained it to me as you just were at the ball and, hey, you take it. I'll fake it, you take it.
Well, Kat takes pretty
Okay.
much every free kick because she has such a hard shot and long range for that matter. So I was just at the top of the box with her. I think it was in Indiana. Do you remember the team that was there?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'll fake it. You can take the shot. I was like, okay. And then, yeah, I took a shot at the far post. I think Heo was there
That's
to put
right.
it away.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
You're welcome. We faked him out. It was good.
And that's what I was just talking to Scott about, how you were just such a good teammate on and off the field. Like, being a rookie, you really did take me under your wing. You probably don't even realize how much of an impact you made on me and the rookies that year, but you really are just such a good leader on and off the field, and it was an honor to be able to play with you, as short as a stint it was. But
Well, I enjoyed every minute. Thank you. It was a blast that year, and I love it. Any way I can help the youngsters. I know what it was like to be a rookie. It's not fun.
No. True.
56 minutes, Seattle and Boston all tied up at 1. Just one more home game left for the Breakers this year. It'll be a week from today against Washington. And I'm looking for one final question for Kat here, looking for the best one on #BreakersTV. I guess this is a good one. What was your favorite Carly Lloyd goal from the Women's World Cup?
Oh, the third one. The 60-yard bomb.
Yeah.
That's my kind of goal.
Yeah,
That's the only way I
say,
can score.
that's
So
what
it's
you
like,
did.
thankfully she didn't beat my record. I have one of the longest goals in U.S. team history because it was like 72 yards. But what happened was it bounced, and Abby Wambach blocked the goalkeeper, so the keeper didn't see it, and it bounced over the keeper's head and went into the goal.
72
Yeah.
yards.
So I was like,
wow.
It was close by Carly Lloyd, but I mean, let's be honest, every
That'd
single
be
goal she
hard to
scored.
beat.
Yeah, but that was my favorite, just because that was just like, that's Carly Lloyd being like, I'm
Yeah.
that good.
Yeah. She did that again this week.
Yeah, I
with
saw
Houston.
top 10.
Seattle with possession right now. They've really had possession most of this game. And again, the Breakers have only had one shot on goal. The goal by Christy Mewis in the 35th minute. Beverly Yanez, who has the ball right now, scored in the 24th minute for Seattle. It's a Reign team that leads the league with 29 goals on the year, defending regular season champions, and right now threatening to do it again. As this ball will spin towards the sideline and kept alive. Played back Rachel Corsi and now Keelan Winters. Winters with a lot of room in the midfield. Now on the far side, Seattle looking to build up some offense. That goes by Vi as King will knock it out of bounds. Well, Kat, you're welcome to stay. And
Yeah. Well, from what I can tell, it seems like the Breakers are content with dropping back. They're so worried about the midfield of Seattle. It's just tough to
have a foul
says it.
in
Say
the
that.
box. She's pointing.
I was just about to say it's tough to defend like that
Yeah.
for 90 minutes and penalty kick.
That's Kim Little, who creates the opportunity, gets tripped up, and have a penalty kick against Alyssa Nair, who has not faced a penalty kick yet this season. She faced 9 a year ago, was able to stop 3 of them. And Little this year is 2 for 3 on penalty kicks. Big moment right now. And Nair cannot make the save. Little scores, and it's 2-1 Seattle.
She guessed right, but that was just a really hard shot to the corner. Well placed there.
So Kim Little will score her 6th of the season and give Seattle the 2-1 lead in the 59th minute here.
It's disappointing for Boston too, because they've done a decent job of slowing Seattle's attack down. Both their goals are set piece and a penalty kick, not really in the run of play. So it's kind of disappointing for them.
And again, we saw Nair. She did guess right to that post, but a lot of times it ends up just being just a better shot.
Again, in the slick surface on the turf.
Yep.
Probably is going a little bit faster too.
World-class goal from a world-class player, let's
Yeah.
be honest. It's unsavable, basically.
Yeah.
Yep, Little last year, the 2014 MVP, the Golden Boot with 16 goals scored and now 6 this season. So now the Breakers will play from behind again. But again, a situation that they've been in a lot this season, haven't been able to come away with a win in the end most of the time, but have fought back. A lot of 3-2 losses after tying things up a couple of times. Schepfer has the pass intercepted by Winters. Able to dribble by Barzik. And now leave it off wide for Katrine Vi.
Well, hopefully as I leave y'all,
y'all,
bring my Alabama accent in there. Got another Alabamian on the field, but she plays for Seattle, Merritt Mathias. So proud Alabamian that I am. But hopefully I'll leave and the Breakers will tie it up and win. So thank you for having me on.
Are you saying that you were the bad luck?
No. Oh, I hope not. But they scored while I was here, so I'm hoping to give them better luck when I leave. How's that?
It's a good win for Kat Whitehill night. Thanks for coming on, Kat.
Yeah, it was great. Great to be on here. Love it.
Ooh, I almost set it up as you were walking out, too. And congrats again on tonight. Obviously, it's very well-deserved. And, you'll be a big part of Boston Breakers history for years to come.
Thank you. I love being here in the booth with you teammates again for a few minutes at least.
Of course, Catherine and Kat have to grab a selfie before Kat leaves.
Secret selfie, Scott.
Hey, selfies are a big thing now, so there's no shame in that.
I loved it. I loved it. Thank y'all very much.
All right, Kat. Thank you so much.
See you later.
So Kat Whitehill joining us here in the booth. Our thanks to her and congratulations on a great career being honored here today. And now we'll see if she's right, if she brings better luck to the Breakers
Hopefully
here.
we can get a win on her special night tonight.
As we play in the 62nd minute. Hope everyone watching enjoyed the time here with Kat Whitehill. And special player in Breakers history and U.S. history. And she'll be involved in women's soccer for many years to come, obviously, whether it's on the field as a coach or as a broadcaster or as, both, really. Can still do both. So Kim Little with the penalty kick score just a few moments ago. And so the Breakers now behind 2-1. Neither team has made a substitution yet. And by the way, that penalty kick was off of a card that was issued to Julie King in the box for scorekeeping's sake there. Yeah, Kim Little delivering the go-ahead goal. And the Breakers fight back yet again. McCaffrey in the midfield. We'll play it back for Barzik. Has Pathman behind her, runs up on it. And now back for Cassie Kallman. Kallman along with King at that center back position. Looking right, taking the space given to her. Now Maddie Evans. It's deflected away from her. Vi stays with it. And then goes right by the next breaker. Katrine Vi, King trying to recover. And now back over the halfway line with Winners. Thank everybody who has joined us on Twitter using the hashtag BreakersTV. A lot of questions for Kat Whitehill. We apologize, can't get to all of them. Sure, if you have any questions for Kat, you could send them right to her on Twitter.
Yeah.
I believe it's Kat Whitehill 4.
Yep.
Corsi along the sideline. Gives to Yanez, Seattle's goal scorer back in the first half. Tied for the league lead now with 9. Crystal Dunn with 9 as well for Washington. And Kat said it herself. She thought that Crystal Dunn should have already been on the national team during the World Cup. Nair will give the ball to Julie King. We thank everybody for tuning in today and also welcoming our viewers on Nesson. Joining us for Boston Breakers Soccer with Catherine Donnelly, I'm Scott Sudikoff. Turnover here, Little with Mathias. Little trying to switch it back to the left foot and got knocked down by Kallman. There'll be no foul called. The Seattle side is incredulous at the lack of call. Seattle staying with the ball, though. Vi, the shot goes over the crossbar.
Yeah, Seattle definitely not happy with that. Wanted to get their second penalty kick on the night, but ref lets that go.
A lot of conversation now with the referee, and a card coming out, a yellow going to Little.
She's kind of running her mouth to the refs there, so the refs just trying to calm things down before it gets out of hand here tonight.
First card for Little on the season. Seattle will be making a change in a few moments. Ellie Reed will be coming into the game.
Reed, of course, a former Boston Breaker. She was coming in around the same time last game. Seattle played at Boston, and right away in the first 5-10 seconds, oh, there's another foul.
Little and Mewis coming together.
Reed came in the first few seconds. Her first couple touches started that goal for Seattle to tie things up, I believe, or even take the lead. So Boston will have to watch her when she comes in.
Free kick coming right at midfield. Pathman and McCaffrey. Pathman heading towards the middle, and Winters bumps her off the ball. Yanez over the line. Coleman will drop it back for King. '67th minute. 2-1 Seattle. Kim Little. Penalty kick score for the Reign here in the second half. Has given the Reign the lead back. Served in by Fletcher, and Little was onside, but bounces too far and Nair gathered it. McCaffrey trying to work her way by a couple of white uniforms. Her left-footed cross attempt got blocked down, stays in the box. And now back for Amy Barzik. Barzik with Mewis. Mewis scored back in the 35th minute, tied at the time for the Breakers. Takes a left-footed shot right at Caroline Stanley, so that's the first save of the game for Stanley. Just a rookie out of Southern Cal. Finished up there in the fall of 2014 in her college playing career. And making the start today with both Hope Solo and Haley Kottmeyer out of action due to injury. Fletcher gives it back to Rachel Corsi. Corsi being chased after by McCaffrey.
Boston finally trying to put some high pressure on here. Just about to say neither team with too much urgency right now. Obviously Seattle in the position to try and slow things down, but Boston needs to get some urgency up top there.
Ellie Reed will be checking in now for Seattle, and it looks like Katrine Vi is coming out. It will be her. She walks off the field here, so Ellie Reed in, Katrine Vi out for Seattle in the 69th minute of play. Reed, 23 years old, played at the University of Portland, has 1 assist on the year, playing in her 14th game. Breakers will have a substitute coming to midfield in a moment. Stephanie Verdoya getting instructions from head coach Tom Durkin. As Nair will settle in at the top of the box. After having some rain pregame, and for the first 10-15 minutes or so, the rain has gone away. It's stayed overcast a bit, but very warm and muggy. Cooling breaks are in effect. We had our first one back around the 30th minute. We'll have one in about 5-6 minutes from now, but at the very least the temperature has dropped a bit, or at least how it feels, as Nair has to be quick here with Little coming after her. Second ball coming down, and Shepford the header. Perez, who had the assist on the Mewis goal, tries to settle it down for the Breakers. Gets it to Mewis. Looking upfield as McCaffrey, and then serving it
To no one, unfortunately.
Thought maybe McCaffrey would make the run that way. Instead, McCaffrey was veering towards the sideline.
That's the disconnect Durkin was talking about last weekend too. Putting together chances up top, getting there, but then not being able to do anything with it. And there's a perfect example. Muse had a nice turn and a nice setup there, but no one from Boston was on the same page as her, and Seattle takes back possession again.
Matthias loses it. Perez with Barzik, with Coleman and Barzik, and now Schepfer. Schepfer to the near side. Pathman, second-year player out of Duke. McCaffrey out of Boston College turns up the sideline by Fletcher. Double comes. McCaffrey will give to Barzik. Back center circle, King. King with the long strides, trying to feed it for Mewis. It deflects by Lazo. Perez in the box. Couldn't get a good touch on it. Schepfer going after it, trips up Fishlock. And played forward by the Rain. Here comes Little. Has Matthias ahead of her to her right. Little into the box. Matthias has to turn back for it. Now Reed. No rush from the Rain, up 2-1 in the 72nd minute. Reed with Fletcher. And now Winners, they go back and forth. Switching it to the far side. Into the box, trying to get it to Yanez. King the header. Yanez had a nice-looking header goal over the weekend against Portland, one of her 2 goals that she scored in 5 minutes as the second half started there, that 3-0 win against Portland. At the edge there, kept out by the Breakers defense. And now out of bounds it'll go as Danielle Foxhoven getting set to come onto the field as well for Seattle. So Stephanie Verdoya coming in for the Breakers, and coming off what'll be Lauren Lazo. So Verdoya appearing in her 6th game in her first professional season. Comes in for Lazo, and Danielle Foxhoven will be coming in for Seattle in just a moment. Foxhoven making her 14th appearance of the year. And apparently they are not letting Foxhoven in just yet because she hadn't officially reported. Hadn't given the 4th official the check-in card, I guess we'll call it. So she will wait for the next available time to sub into the game. And Rachel Wood will also come on for Boston at that time as well. We're in the 73rd, now 74th minute. Fletcher into the box, and nobody home as Nair will pick it up. Use the hashtag BreakersTV on Twitter if you have any questions, or just let us know where you're watching from the broadcast today and who you're rooting for. Again, hashtag BreakersTV. If you missed it earlier, Kat Whitehill was in the booth for a good 10-15 minutes, discussing her time as a broadcaster at the World Cup, her career with Boston and the U.S. national team, and some insight onto this Breakers team is Matthias in the box. And the flag was up on the near side, so offside was Matthias.
A little too close for comfort there for Boston, though. Seattle almost up 3-1 there, which, is a tough lead to come back from.
So Foxhoven will come in for Seattle right now. And the substitutes today are taking their time coming off the field. It's very hot, muggy out there, so can't really blame them for just walking off the field a bit, although Amy Barzik comes jogging off for the Breakers, as Rachel Wood will come in for her. Foxhoven coming in for Merritt Matthias for Seattle. And they're not letting Wood in, so it's happened to both teams. They hadn't really officially checked in. Have to hand over the card to the official, and then So Wood will come in on the next time. I guess it's fair. It happens to Seattle. Now happens to Boston. Little turns away from Perez, and again, the fancy footwork.
You can hear Boston not very happy with Wood not being able to sub in right away.
Yeah, Seattle had the same
yeah.
complaint as well. The substitute was up there waiting with the card, waiting to go in, and nobody acknowledged her.
Boston obviously trying to come back and tie this, so they want some fresh legs in there.
Fishlock wins the second ball momentarily for Seattle. Now Schepfer for the Breakers. Schepfer sending it long. Pathman trying to run onto it. Fletcher had some trouble with it. Pathman couldn't win it, though.
Nice recovery by Fletcher there.
Reed angling towards the middle. Has Little making a run. She wanted the pass. Put her hands up in disgust that she didn't get it. Now Yanez takes the shot and there the save at the top of the 6.
There's that poised player in Reed I was talking about earlier. Same type of thing happened last game and she went in, but she's quiet, but she really does get the offense going. And on the breaker, she was actually a defender, so you can see her transitioning into an offensive player with Seattle, and she does a good job. Gives Seattle a pretty good chance there.
Schepfer loses it, and Little right onto it for Seattle. Mewis comes and takes it away from Winters. Gets it for McCaffrey. McCaffrey back towards Mewis, and a good sliding play by Lauren Barnes to keep it away from Mewis. It will be a corner kick for the Breakers, though. And Rachel Wood will check in. So a key opportunity in the 77th minute, a corner kick coming for the Breakers, and a chance to tie the game up. As Wood comes on for Barzik. Another look at the build-up, and just getting there in time was Barnes. Corner kick coming for the Breakers, and as it always is now, Christy Mewis will do the honors. Scored the tying goal back in the first half, and let's see if she can set up the tying goal here in the second half for Boston.
This will be her 38th corner kick on the season, good for 7th in the league right now. So she knows what she's doing.
The header goes over the goal, Julie King. Well, that's how Julie King has scored her goals in her professional career, off of corner kicks. And not able to put that one home, and muttering to herself a bit. Take another look at it. And we will have the second cooling break of this game today, a couple of minutes for the two sides to rest and grab some extra fluids on this very warm and muggy day. And again, the rain did cool things down a bit, but hour before the game they decide what the heat index is at that time. They decide then, and don't take any chances and keep things going here and grab a quick water break. Gives us a chance to talk about what the Breakers might need to do to tie this game up, down 2-1. The offense has had its moments where they've taken advantage with Christy Mewis's goal from Suzanne Perez. A good chance there. Built up from a good chance, led to a corner kick. But other than that, though, the Boston offense has struggled again. And you touched on it with Kaya Simon, who she was in the lineup for 3 games. Things were coming together a bit. And now she's out of the lineup, and things have to change again. A lot of shuffling pieces for the Breakers offensively.
And you almost saw that spark right there. Mewis had a nice little give and go there. Almost put one away there. And now we have fresh legs in there with Wood. So Boston's obviously going to try and tie things up right away. As we talked about earlier, giving up the first goal has been tough on them this season. They haven't been able to come back from it. I think they're 0-6-2 or 3 after conceding the first goal. So, they're obviously going to want to reverse that stat tonight and try and tie things up and then take it from there. There's still a good amount of time left in tonight's game. They do have some fresh legs in there, but between McCaffrey and Mewis, that's that little spark that we want to see consistently, and we want to be able to see them finish the chances off of that, which they've been struggling to do a little bit, but that was a pretty close opportunity for Boston there, and let's see if they can keep that going.
Thank you to everybody checking in on #BreakersTV. We have some fans on Twitter that are calling for a Scott Sudikoff and Catherine Donnelly bobblehead night at a Breakers game. I don't know. I don't think I'd look very good as a bobblehead.
Does anyone look good as a bobblehead?
Nair will clear it out from the box. Fletcher and Perez battling for the ball. And that'll be out to Boston. Fletcher couldn't keep it in. Got fans watching from Bulgaria, rooting for the rain, but also rooting for Alyssa Nair. Fans from Texas saying their team is Seattle and the Houston Dash. Is that allowed? Can you really, in a 9-team league, can you really claim allegiance for 2 teams?
As long as they're supporting the league, I'm going to say yes.
I guess you're right. That's a good point. Yanez goes around there, and Seattle stays on it. 4,325, a sellout crowd here in Boston, standing room only.
It's awesome to see, too. The fans have been into it all night, even with the rain, even with Boston being down a little bit. Everyone's still here. It's still packed. Again, Cat Whitehill night. It's nice to see all the fans there to give her appreciation as well.
Just hoping that we can see a similar crowd a week from today in the finale of the home schedule for the Breakers against Washington. And at last check, tickets were selling fast. We're inching towards a sellout. So everybody watching this right now, especially the fans who are watching this game on Nesson, you're in the New England area if you're watching Nesson most likely. And make it a point to get out here to Boston next Saturday, August 8th, as the Breakers take on the Washington Spirit. The final regular season home game of the season for the Breakers. And 2016 season tickets already on sale as of today. I see there's some good seats field level, and they're not that expensive, so grab up
Can't get a better seat
season
than
pass right on the field. For 2016, a foul here on Boston in the 82nd minute.
That's a
red card.
Wow. King's obviously arguing her case here. She is the captain as well, so that's tough to have your captain.
She has a yellow. She already had a yellow.
Right, so that makes it a red card.
Correct.
Right.
So the Breakers now will be down a player. And some words between the rest of the players, Fishlock and Schepfer and Julie King. So the Breakers will be down a player for the final 8 minutes of regulation time. And the Breakers will make a final substitution as well. Kem Ezrique getting set to come on. And King just not happy at all. She comes here towards the sideline looking at what happened there. So her second yellow card leads to the red. And for somebody who doesn't miss a lot of time to have to leave a game due to a card. Another look at what happened here. Just kind of wrapping up, was that Yanez, I believe.
I mean, I could see it being a foul, but tough to give a yellow card in that situation knowing that it becomes a red card.
If her yellow earlier was in the box, led to the Kim Little penalty kick goal. So King already frustrated with that play and now has to leave the field.
It's been a tough game for her tonight, but she is the leader in the back line and again captain of the team. It's hard to see your captain leave, but hopefully the back line can kind of figure things out without her, and this is a good opportunity for those players to step up right now.
Breakers down a player now with King out of the game with the 2 yellows for the red. One touch, Reed into the box, nobody there, but Little chasing it down in the corner. Little. We'll play it back for Winners. Winners will chip it towards Yanez, settles it and shoots it over the crossbar. She wasn't onside though. They had the flag up on the near side, but Yanez still looked pretty close to scoring another goal.
I was going to say, regardless, that's a easier. It looks easier than it is to put that one away when you're that close. A lot of times players kind of panic and send it over like that instead of just touching it in, but she was offsides anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Kem Ezrique will come into the Boston lineup. She's back from the Pan Am Games where she played for Team Canada. She'll come out of the field for Suzanne Perez, and Seattle making a change as Mariah Bullock has come out of the field for Keelan Winters. Mariah Bullock, formerly Mariah Noguera, and a former Boston Breaker. Into the game for Seattle. Again, it's 11-on-10 right now. It's Julie King, a red card issued a couple of minutes ago. Is out of the game now. So the Breakers have to come back from a goal deficit, down a player. Yet a important player, important defensive player. Yanez to Reed. Fletcher towards the top. Going up to get it there was Wood. Rachel Wood, Kim Ezerique have come on, as well as Stephanie Verdoya substitutes for Boston here in the second half. Ezerique steps in front of Bullock. And Ezerique and Bullock battling for it, and the foul goes on Ezerique. Seemed like she was the one really on the ball.
I was going to say she was doing a good job using her size to keep the ball there, but ref calls it against her. Play goes on here.
Breakers will be at Portland on Wednesday, so right back in action against the Thorns. Seattle is off until August 12th when they play Houston. $4,300 fans on hand here at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium. Sellout crowd. And hoping that the Breakers can make a comeback. Beverly Yanez scored in the 24th minute for Seattle, made a 1-0 reign. Then Christy Mewis tied it in the 35th minute, 1-1 at halftime. But it was a penalty kick goal by Kim Little in the 60th minute. That's given Seattle this 2-1 advantage as we play the final 3.5 minutes of regulation time. Reed trying to keep it away. She does. Now Corsi. Back up the middle. Yanez. Right back to Reed. Reading it, though, was Coleman. Keeping it away as Reed will slide and knock it out. Keep that play from developing for the Breakers. Little on the run for the Reign. Got it across to Foxhoven, but couldn't make the play, and then cleared away by Pathman. Throw in coming for Seattle. Christy Mewis had her team-high 5th goal back in the first half, but that's all the Breakers have, and down 2-1. Yanez her 9th, Little her 6th for the Reign. Now the Reign have a league-high 30 goals scored on the year, and this is the 15th game of the season. It's very easy math to figure out there. 2 goals a game for this Reign FC club. It's always good when the math is easy for us. Little. Again, no rush for the Reign with the 1-goal lead in the 89th minute as Stanley comes well off of her position there to get that one forward as Kim Ezerique was threatening, running after it.
Well, she hasn't had too much action tonight, so she got a little bored back there, wanted to get involved a little bit. You know, the Breakers sure aren't afraid to pass it back to their goalie and use their goalie as an outlet pass a lot.
Workout World is proud to be partners with your Boston Breakers. Wow, hours more, like free babysitting, free group X classes, and so much more.
You can see the fans on the sideline there, and those aren't usual seats. That's part of the sellout crowd tonight, adding extra seats along the sideline there.
Yeah, extra seats on the field, extra seats on a hill we have to the right of the press box, and then a lot of standing room between the bleachers.
It's great to see. It's great to see.
Has led to this sellout crowd and I guess over capacity crowd officially. One more home game left on the schedule for the Breakers on August 8th against Washington. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff. I think the 4 o'clock kickoff today is a benefit to Seattle to be able to get home
right
a little bit earlier than playing a later game. Of course, they will gain also 3 hours back on the way, and they also have 10 days off before their next game. As Enrique can't control it for the Breakers as we head towards extra time in the second half. Breakers have not won a game since May 30th. At this point, probably be happy with the draw. They've had a couple of those on this downturn, as that's offside. 4 minutes of extra time here for the Breakers to tie this game up. They will quickly try to do so. Stephanie Verdoya, Rachel Wood with the ball. Wood will go along with it. Mewis can't get the header. Goes off the shoulder of Fletcher. And now Reed, space up the sideline. Puts on the brakes and drops it off for Bullock. And now play it all the way back to Corsi. Fishlock goes to Little. And again, also 11 on 10 here. Seattle can very easily play a game of keep away in this situation. About 3 more minutes of extra time to go here. The crowd here trying to give the Breakers some final momentum over the final 3 minutes of stoppage time.
Breakers always have such great loyal fans. It's tough for them to see another losing season like this. No, sorry, keep going.
Verdoya able to stay with it, gets it to McCaffrey out wide. McCaffrey, and a good sliding play there. It'll be a throw-in for the Breakers, but they are working their way down the field where
you can hear Seattle's coach and their bench.
That to be a foul. A free kick coming.
Right outside
5
the box,
yards outside the box. The Breakers really couldn't ask for a better chance here in stoppage time, down by a goal.
Need to get moving, though.
Christy Mewis, we've seen do some fancy things with opportunities like this. Don't be shocked if she's aiming for goal here.
Same with Shepford up there.
Mewis with the left foot towards goal, and it's over the crossbar.
There's a kick, you want to just make sure you get on goal. There's nothing you can do, and it goes out of bounds like that. At the very least, you want that to be a save the keeper has to make, so hopefully she juggles it, or you can get a rebound. But unfortunately for Boston, that goes out of bounds. No chance for them there.
Nair will punt it across midfield. Mewis can't keep control as Yanez takes it for Seattle. Right now, the game-winning goal standing as the penalty kick by Kim Little. Here the Seattle side asking the referee to check the watch.
Right.
Time definitely is dwindling. Evans got it ahead to Verdoya. Verdoya running against Fishlock. Fishlock shielding her way off the ball. And it's going to be a Seattle throw. Well, Fishlock in that instance maybe wasn't too worried about picking up a foul. Just didn't want Verdoya to get the ball and keep it going, so she kind of used her body to knock her out of the way, and just goes out of bounds for a Seattle throw. Good step up by Shepfer. Mewis with a left-footed shot, and it goes by the post.
Not a bad chance, though. It's kind of a blind shot.
Or was that Shepfer?
I think that was Mewis. Oh.
Have to quickly keep going here as, well, Seattle not going to go quickly at all. Take all the time they are allowed here. And the final whistle will go here. Seattle will beat Boston today 2-1. The Reign continue their hot play with points in 11 of 12 as they beat Boston 2-1 here tonight in Boston. We'll take a break and be back with more.
The Boston Breakers are back. New England's only women's professional soccer team has kicked off the 2015 season and tickets are on sale now. Come pregame with the Breakers and enjoy great music, the beer garden, and then watch the best players in the world and the superstars of tomorrow. Meet the players after the game at Autograph Alley. Home games are played at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium at Harvard University. Tickets start as low as $15. To get game schedules, more info, and your ticket to Boston's best-kept sports secret, log on to bostonbreakerssoccer.com.
Am I even going to say anything? Probably not. Whatever.
Back here in Boston, 2-1, Seattle beats the Breakers, and the Breakers will be back in action Wednesday at Portland. Seattle stays at the top of the standings, now 9-3-3 on the year. Our Stewart Healthcare MVP of the game, it goes to Maddie Evans here today as she was forced to go back on the on defense, switching spots kind of with Lauren Lazo, and she did very well in that spot, did Maddie Evans, and such a spark plug type of player, and kind of the everlasting energy, or what's that bunny? The everlasting, you know what I'm getting at. But she's that type of player.
The Energizer Bunny.
Energizer Bunny.
And she's such a workhorse in there. You can ask her to play any position. She's just happy to be on the field, and wherever you put her, she's going to do a good job. She played all 90 minutes on outside back. That's really hard to do, and she did a great job at it tonight.
Goals today from Seattle's Beverly Yanez, and then Christy Mewis in the first half tied it up 1-1 at halftime. Kim Little, though, a penalty kick goal for Seattle, won it in the second half for the Reign. The Reign now 9-3-3 at the top of the NWSL. Breakers fall to 3-9-3. They'll be back home, final home game of the year, Saturday, August 8th against Washington, a 7 o'clock kickoff. Tickets going fast, so be sure to get out here to Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium. That will just about wrap things up for our broadcast today. I want to thank my broadcast partner, Catherine Donnelly, also Kat Whitehill for joining us here in the booth. Our entire crew here at Soldiers Field Soccer Stadium. I'm Scott Sudikoff as Boston falls to Seattle 2-1. Goodbye, everybody.